Good afternoon, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here, joining you from the newsroom, enjoying some AC today. And some of us are actually getting Mother Nature's version of AC. We do have a few showers and thunderstorms in South Mississippi. Now, a lot of us along the coast not seeing any rain at this point, but let's take a look at First Alert Radar. We actually are getting some needed rain in some spots in South Mississippi. We can see a few of those showers and thunderstorms, mainly north of I-10. It looks like we have a pretty decent thunderstorm in Pearl River County, and where you see those deeper oranges and reds, that indicates some heavier rainfall. So some of us seeing some heavier downpours. It looks like near McNeil, just to the west of Highway 11 in Pearl River County, we've got a decent thunderstorm. Also noticing just to the south of Saussure, we've got a little bit of rainfall as well. Some of these showers are moving through rural areas, so again, a lot of us are missing out on the rain, and not everyone is going to see rain this evening. And just a heads up, after today, don't count on much rain this week. If you miss it on the rain today, looks like it's going to be a little while before we see more rainfall anytime soon. Right now in Gulfport, we're not seeing any of that rain. It's warm, it's humid today. We have dew points back in the low 70s, not nearly as comfortable as what it was yesterday. We have a heat index right now sitting at 90, and we will keep a chance for a few more hit or miss showers and storms this evening. Generally speaking, though, rain chances are still looking pretty low over the next several hours, but there is going to be a chance for a few more showers and storms. Just don't get your hopes up too high if you've been needing more rainfall in your area. Now, one good thing is that as we head into the evening, if the sky remains mostly clear, and if we don't have a lot of rainfall, you'll have a good chance of seeing the International Space Station, which tonight it looks like it will be passing by almost directly overhead. Now, when it first appears above the horizon, it's going to be close to the horizon. Look to the southwest at about 7:54. That's when it's expected to move above the horizon, and then it will move almost directly overhead over the next few minutes, and then eventually it will appear to disappear in the sky to the northeast after about 7 minutes after 7:54, so roughly at about 8:01. But something to check out tonight. Hopefully the sky will cooperate with that. We have seen a few clouds here or there today, along with a few showers and storms, but this will be something to check out overnight tonight. And shout out to Aaron Colby for bringing this to our attention earlier today. Just something kind of interesting if you want to check that out if you're going to be out and about later this evening. Now let's talk about those dew points. Yesterday we had dew points in the 50s. Today we have dew points in the 70s. Compared to this time yesterday, dew points are roughly about 15 degrees higher, and you probably can notice that higher humidity in the air. We have a dew point of 71 in Gulfport. Looks like the higher humidity, higher dew points have returned to the central Gulf Coast. We're seeing those in New Orleans, Pensacola, Mobile. We've got a tiny bit more of that summer-like feel today with that higher humidity. It looks like, though, by Thursday, we may get a little bit of a drop in that humidity, making it feel more comfortable at this point. But the setup today is that we have a little bit of a disturbance over the northeast Gulf. That's helped to create some of those showers and thunderstorms offshore today, and even over areas a little bit farther inland this afternoon. But as we get into Wednesday, our rain chances pretty much completely go away once again. So today is going to be our best chance of seeing any showers and storms. Once we get into the evening, our rain chances decrease a little bit more, and we're really not expecting hardly any rain at all on Wednesday. It should be fairly comfortable in the morning, temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s, and we're going to be back into the upper 80s and low 90s by Wednesday afternoon. Still a little bit muggy at times, but in terms of rain coverage, a stray shower at the very most. It looks like some of that moisture will continue to move farther to the west, farther away from us, and in replacement of that, we'll see some drier air, it looks like, as we head into Thursday, and possibly that drier air sticks around into Friday. If we're lucky, it's going to feel pretty comfortable again by Thursday and Friday, maybe even into Saturday. Dew points in the upper 50s and low 60s for us this time of the year, that's not too bad. So these dew points in the 70s, they may be a little short-lived. I'm not complaining about that. Doesn't look like we're going to have that drastic drop in humidity like we had yesterday, but even a little bit of a break is going to make things feel comfortable. Now, while the weather is actually going to be beautiful, the downside is some of us could use more rain at this point. It's roughly been about 9 to 10 days since we've had measurable rain in Gulfport at the airport. And after today, if we don't see any rain, our chances of seeing any more rain the rest of the weekend into the weekend, pretty much slim to none. So your yard will continue to dry out a little bit more day in and day out if you miss out on the rain. That being said, it makes for really nice weather this weekend if you're going to be out and about. Should see plenty of sunshine, and it is going to be hot again this weekend, but nothing too unusual for this time of the year. High temperatures by the end of the week, likely going to be in the low 90s on the coast. Our normal high for Gulfport at this point in the year is at 89. So a little bit higher than normal, but not by much. Now, if you live north of I-10, you will have a better chance of seeing the mid 90s by the end of the week and into the weekend. And even with just a little bit of that humidity sticking around, it's not going to be horrible. It may make it feel a little bit hotter outside. But like I said, if you have outdoor plans this weekend, the rain should not be much of an issue. Over the next 6 to 7 days, again, not much rain expected. I'm waiting for this graphic to update here. There we go. As of today, it even looks like we've had most of the rain west of Highway 49. That's what it's picking up on there, because after today, hardly any rain expected. So, again, your yard's probably going to be dry. Maybe you need to turn on your sprinklers a little bit, water some of those plants in your garden, because they're not going to be getting much from Mother Nature over the next week or so. Good news is, in the tropics, we have no tropical development expected over the next 7 days. And that is a little unusual for this time of the year. We're actually entering into what we consider the peak of hurricane season over the next few days, where historically we have more tropical storms and hurricanes. It just so happens that this year, in the early part of September, the middle part of September, there is not much to track across the Atlantic Basin, nor the Caribbean and the Gulf. I am not complaining one bit about this, but yeah, no tropical development expected over the next 7 days. We have a lot of dry air, it seems like, in place over the tropics right now that is preventing some of that development from happening. So we can at least rest easy this week. However, we still have a ways to go before the end of hurricane season. Out in the Pacific, we've been watching Kiko, which was a hurricane. Now it is considered a tropical storm. It's weakened quite a bit. Reason why we've been watching this one a little bit more is that it's so close to Hawaii, but really most of the impacts have stayed to the north of the Hawaiian Islands. They may be seeing some bigger swells thanks to tropical storm Kiko, but Hawaii is going to be dodging this one, so that's also some good news. Like I said, we are entering into what we consider the peak of hurricane season right now, the early to middle part of September, where historically we have more hurricanes and tropical storms. It just so happens that this year the tropics are quiet, which, again, I don't think a lot of us are complaining about that. Of course, we could use a little more rain around here, but I think we can agree we would rather get more rain not from a tropical system or a hurricane, that's for sure. So at least for the time being, the tropics are quiet. But as we get into October, we still need to be on guard as well, because again, hurricane season is far from over. Also, really briefly want to talk about your marine forecast. We're keeping that wind out of the east this evening. Offshore, we could see some gusts as high as 25 knots. It is going to be choppy at times. A small craft advisory remains in effect for offshore areas later tonight. Over the Sound, not quite as choppy with seas at 1 to 3 feet, but there is going to be a small craft caution remaining in effect. Just a heads up if you had plans to take the boat out tonight. We will be approaching low tide throughout the early part of the evening. High tide is expected overnight tonight, but our tidal range for this round of tides, not very large, less than a half a foot in many locations. So in our water temperature also was a little bit cooler, still warm though, in the low 80s. Your 7-day forecast, it's pretty quiet, all things considered. Again, we could see a few more showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, but this evening most of the rain diminishes, and then heading into the weekend, and we are not expecting any rain. It is going to be heating up a little bit more with highs in the low 90s, but the mornings are looking pretty comfortable with temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. So if you're going to be up, out and about early in the mornings, it should feel pretty nice, but with all that sunshine in the forecast, it is going to be heating up quite a bit by the end of the week. So the time now, 2:34. We will be having our 4 o'clock newscast in about an hour and a half. I'll have another update on what we're watching on First Alert Radar. Plus, we'll have more on what's going on here in South Mississippi. So hopefully you can join us at 4 o'clock today on WLOX.